Hello everybody! How are we all doing tonight? Thanks for tuning into my channel and of course, the Sahari Show. I'm one half of the spectacular duo tonight and with me is the always eloquent Sahari. How are you doing, Sahari?
Opala Chaba, Peldo Dabishi, Viva Desu, Stebu Plebo.
Heck yes, we have 3 episodes to talk about today and I can't wait to get to all of them and see our favorite eliminated contestants. Well, I think I've said enough. Let's get to the show.
Buma, Samzo Mog, Bonji, Sistun Turib.
Sure, and in case you're wondering, I don't have any secret scenes for this. I've pretty much shown everything there is, except maybe cutting down on the market sale challenge, cause the raw footage of that is like at least an hour and 15 minutes long. I know a lot of people were blindsided that this wasn't an elimination leg, and I'm glad I've done my job. Oh yeah, the U-turn! I think the Amazing Race actually does U-turns at Final 5, but I think that's 2 little teams, so 6 is a sweet spot. It's crazy how it created drama and yet both U-turn teams survive. Such a fun leg.
Essanoi, Flarib, Finalibo, Nisota Saburano, Bombzoid Dimpish.
Well, yeah, I guess frogs are just harder to sell than tomato sauce. For real, I really thought Crystal and Zach's time was up, but the market sales are so random, there's really no telling what you'll get. And to think if they waited to use the express pass, they could have gotten first, but hindsight, you know.
Rekalulu Saquinario, Torque Bashoshi.
Well, only one way to find out, isn't there? Let's bring in our model material couple, Mackenzie Dittman and Johnson Galarza. Give them a hand. Hello, Mackenzie and Johnson. My goodness, you two are the definition of people who wake up with perfect hair. But first, we gotta ask, how are you two doing as a couple? You had a rough patch on the race. Has that affected your relationship in any way?
Tuma Fanul, Chimna, Grana Ura, Naba Flarzo. Niso.
Subao Habari, Umfra Nibahana.
Orphan, Kabura.
Uba Wayna, con Felibo Daba. Bethite Shamagra, Grinoi Foibi. And Fabi Narble, Frange.
Pervachel Leaf, Hispaniba Whelm, Pator, Fleur Base, Una Turb, Zipabe.
Well, I am very happy to hear that you two are together again as happy as ever. I was worried I was going to be a homewrecker just having the race, you know. Now, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room, the battle of the Mackenzies. You could say you won in some way by placing above her, even if it's just for one more leg. What do you think about your time with Mackenzie on the race?
Dala Shibi Yaba.
Chabin Durkeem,
Lissarak.
Fanukadoi,
Ah, Wavine.
Yibs.
Exanoi Zons. Wasusa. Snibara Watanini. Lamina Exine.
Brimble Situba.
Alright, let's move on to further questions. Don't want another round of what happened on the race. So, you used the express pass given to you by Malik and Mason to bypass the detour and you lost out because of the roadblock. Care to elaborate what were you thinking on during the time?
Gobi Nushba, Yemi Temp Thorbo, Laura Uchme, the North Gorg, Snorbs,
Oh.
Sippy Snurb.
Well, if you put it that way, it sounds like you had the worst leg ever. I'm sorry. Besides the obvious worst, what are some of your favorite moments on the race?
Gana Shuna. Tharb Fenib. Telvajero Umpra. Apala Chaba. Peldo Dabishi.
Wib, Tweevo Bebso, Watsu Gorg, Ishkabau Schnurs, Rifseg.
Glad to hear you two had a fun time anyway. Maybe the honeymoon isn't so bad after all. Well, before you go, we gotta ask, who are you rooting for to take home the win?
Telvajero Umpra. Sawota.
Sharuste Halkay. Hey, Wes. Haha.
Uba buena con Felibo Daba. Kanumi, Merkel Zira?
Oh my gosh, I think the same. Well, it's been very lovely having you on the race. We hope your marriage lasts a long time and may your love prosper even more in the future. See you.
Sistune Turip. Piffatau. Wambavoy Yambalala.
You got that right, Sahari. This episode was so much fun to film, even if I had to test the lake like a ton to get the errands right. I didn't want racers to have to leave Finchwick, like deliver a package to the creature keeper or like cook a meal at some house, so I really had to scope out which errands that I could do. Thankfully, only 2 teams chose that detour. Well, I don't know what else to talk about this episode. It's a non-elimination leg, so we don't really have anybody to talk to, like, about it.
Febine Lovo Bonefi. Grenea. Buma Samzomog. Banji. Bamkaro Sumbisi. Binkapa Baru.
Oh my god, Darnell! I've missed you so much! Honestly, one of the most abrupt pre-mergers of Battle of Belomesia. Well, before we go on, how are you doing?
Unkim Paniba Spoid, Finaeum, Mibs, Watanabe, Sherblue, Blitz, Nabano Garza, good choice.
Oh, isn't that sweet of you to say? Wait, your favorite house guest is Jorge? How come?
Stumsig Salunga, Panave, Bamba Yus, Arpanaya Bonangrabe.
Oh my god, that was exactly what I was gonna ask you about next! In case you missed it. Oh, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen Battle of Belomesia. Darnell here is the victim of a revote after Queen Shima negated all votes against her with an idol, and Elliot was the one who threw a vote on him, which ultimately caused his elimination. It was definitely a crazy tribal council for a pre-merge episode. What were your thoughts at the time? Were you mad at Elliot?
Squaff Boimel, Shalbo Yorib, Tunba, Kiniko Bifarfase, Zebra Minnow, Simone Zera, Flix, Nabano Darza, good choice.
Glad to hear that, Darnell. What a good sport. Well, clearly Sahari thinks you are the most fit to talk about these 2 legs in Handful on Bagley, and I think so too. What do you think?
Foos, Ashi, Lovo Canfoy, Moochie Peachy, Porsche,
Oh, sounds like your farm is growing. Last we heard you only had Lucy, your dear cow.
Febide, Mackiner, Jabini Nobe.
Those are some interesting names. Glad your family is thriving. Well, Sahari has an interesting exercise for us in the studio today. I am not sure when she did this, but we have a cow in the studio. Would you care to demonstrate to us your animal skills, Darnell? Show these racers how they should have done it.
Franj Bishoshi.
Darnell's going around to... Oh? Oh, he's feeding her before milking. Maybe that's what does the trick. Sir, you're also kind of missing the bucket, but, yeah, she's very quiet and just letting him do her thing. Wow, amazing. Oh, she's so excited. Beautiful. Not me being squeamish. Well, that was enlightening. I couldn't have done that better myself. Moving on, which shows have you kept up with, Darnell? Have you been watching this season of The Sims Amazing Race?
Shamray Parla Dimp. Saya. Yedumsa Legenzo. Fine. Finica Patharjo. Nishaba. Overrimple. Fanje Turip Bones.
Well, thank you for joining us on the Sahari Show tonight, Darnell. It's always great to catch up with past contestants. We wish you all the best on your farm and best wishes to your little family as well. And yeah, I will validate your parking.
Thank
Crush you. Cancuyas Leckham. Alconchibo Lava. Minnesota Soberano.
Yep, you are right. To me, this is one of those legs where the tasks aren't that interesting, but the world is beautiful and the culture is rich. Like, if you break it down, it's getting lucky with fishing and artifacts, and the detour is just leveling up 2 different skills to level 3. But it's the way they're executed that makes it so beautiful. I personally felt pressure to deliver since we had not 1 but 2 legs in Salvadorada last season, so I knew I needed to really try to make the task different for this one, and somehow I did it. I am so glad I found the capoeira mod. I don't remember how I stumbled on it, to be honest, but I must be just looking for new activities to do in The Sims 4 and I found it that way. Funnily enough, the way I knew about capoeira is through this millennial-ass mobile game called Crossy Road. If you know it, you know it. But I'm very glad to find the mod.
Boomer, Somzo Mog, Bonji, Washa Zabris.
Same. Crystal and Zach's downfall was honestly so shocking and seemingly came out of nowhere. Not Brent and Brent level, but close enough. But like I said in the video, it does open the door for some unexpected underdogs to possibly make it to the finale.
Lankara Sambisi. Clem.
Heck yes! Everybody, welcome the super siblings, Crystal and Zach Williams! Crystal and Zach, you were definitely one of my favorite teams coming into the race, and many were rooting for you two to take it all at the end. Needless to say, your elimination shocked the nation. Is there anything you want to say towards your fans?
And Fabi Narble, Franj, Kanumi, Merkel Zero?
Lisa Yibzor, Yumba Jabe, Moon, Dempa Bifna, Simzay, Jab Brow, Booma Shmisne? Oh, Kaywireee.
Okay, well, let's start with a simple question. How far behind Chidima and Rochelle were you when you arrived at the pit stop? The lights were on, so it seemed pretty late.
Shamagra, Sublur Baroda, Ruhana.
My goodness, the edit definitely cut out a lot. You said in the episode that you had to do the roadblock because Zach reached his roadblock limit. Do you think things would have fared out differently if he had done the roadblock?
Booma, Somzo Mog, Bonji.
Sploif Kanar, Pando Chris, Lanu.
Zafis, Muchi Pichi, Benjip. Miss Stevie Flina, Shelsh. Oh. Uwawena. Oh, Kisanoy Sweezo. Swota.
Well, as of right now, you two are the 3rd best team this season in terms of placement averages, and you're tied with Bob Eliza for top 5 of all time. Did you think you would do so well on the race?
K West, Jabe Sturka, Quib Hale, Yabna, Jungi Plavum, Yano Zorpal, Laho Quarp, Snoop.
Brongi, DZ Bobna,
Oh, Moosh Pepso,
Snibara Watanini,
Hana Klets.
Karenzi.
Oh, Athena.
Aw, sibling love is truly the best love. Do you have any favorite legs or challenges?
Telvajero Umbra. Canathoy Narble, Milshaba. Oh, Chief.
Yes, through ya. But here at Tarinj, Funobe, Tinoba Suwang, Goni.
Oh gosh, Zach, you're so prim and proper. Well, our section is sadly almost at the end. Final question we asked everybody, who are you rooting for to win this season?
Sistoon Turib, Pipatao, Snibara, Dubna Tempe, Watanini Chop. Wamba Boy Yambalala, Sigluna Payun. Yay!
Well, it's been an absolute joy, but also a stab to the gut seeing you eliminated. All the best in whatever you do. Good night. This is the section where we answer all your questions over the last 3 episodes, and boy, do we have a lot. Let's get right into it. Ooh, okay, maybe I'll combine these two together. Random crew fan edge, which team do I think is overrated or underrated? And Curtis Gibson asks, what's the team I hate the most? Y'all, this is impossible. I definitely don't hate any team because that is just so impossible. They all have quirks and they play a part in the story of the season. I definitely think Samira and Octavius are underrated. They ran a very strong race, and as spoiled as Octavius is, they are both carrying each other's weight. They've been very fun to watch for me. Well, in a follow-up to Random Crew fans question, Sahari, who was the better villain in your Big Brother season? Zainab or Sabrina? Honestly, I think the same. Oh, here's a long one incoming, and it's asked by Walker Star as of recent and Ganapati Kamesh a while ago. How do I order the licks and how do I pick which licks are going to be non-elimination? So I kind of select non-elimination licks first when planning the race, and that itself is a little bit random, just kind of based off how I feel. Like last season it was Final 8 and Final 6, so this season I wanted Final 9 and Final 5 just to switch things up. And as in how I order the legs, I actually start by selecting the twists for that leg. Like I knew I wanted that intersection at Final 8, so Windenburg was that leg's location. And I knew I wanted the Werewolf Tug of War to be one of the face-off legs, so I put Moonwood Mill in leg 7. So it's like partially random but also structured in such a way that there are twists at almost every leg except the first and last few. Speaking of the Sims Amazing Race, Chill Panda asks you, Sahari, if you could plan an amazing leg evolving around you, how would it look like?
Waga Fruge. Borba Quest. Kanumi. Merkel Zero. Minnesota Saburano. Ubawana. Confulio Daba. Damse Bruhana. Apala Chaba. Keldo Dabishi.
Well, public speaking and dealing with children are probably my worst nightmare, so you're probably right, Sahari. Remind me to never let you plan a leg. I kid. Alright, Zones asks who from this season do I think is the most robbed? Oh wow, this is loaded. Honestly, I think the team that goes at Final 4 would be the most robbed, and judging by the Final 4 right now, it applies to all of them. It's painful to make it so far and be eliminated just before the finale, no matter who it is. Although, if we're naming someone that's already been eliminated, biases aside, I would honestly say it's Faisal and Rizal. Firstly, they fell behind at no fault of their own. Love Alberta and Ophelia, but they were a big reason why the firefighters fell to last. And if they managed to beat out Santiago and Evander that leg, this whole season would change. Maybe they would be the frontrunners, maybe not, but I can't see them going much further. Speaking of teams, Kayla Cook asks you, Sahari, who's your favorite team as of right now?
Ubawana. Confulio Daba. Nibara Watanimi. Lamina Exine. Minnesota Saburano. Cabernet Lovo Bonefi.
Indeed, me too, honestly. This Final 4 elimination will break me, I just know it. Well, Carter A also asks, Sahari, would you ever return to a reality show if you were asked back?
Batanani. Zambu Monet. Nibarf. Ichi Parsafe. Oh, Bin Ibao. Wasabis Yabuya. Coin. Shallow Bambi Guans.
Guess I'll have to ask you back next season. I kid. Oh, and here's some questions for other shows of mine. Zaji asked if I take inspiration for twists and formats from international shows. And yes, I do. And I definitely appreciate the many ideas that everyone gives me. Also, even though I do not play orgs like online reality games, I tend to browse their wikis for twist ideas and such. So yeah, you may even see some get implemented next season. On the same note, H Lane asks about my Survivor series. How are votes determined and when someone plays their idol? So votes are all relationship based, and I use either HH relationship print or UI cheats to check the specific like number. You can find out more of how I do those in my mods videos. And regarding idols, I use a randomizer for how many votes are received by the user against how many total votes that round. So if a user gets 2 votes out of 6, that's just a 2 out of 6 chance that they will play their idol. So there is room for misplays even if we haven't seen them yet. Oh, here's a cute question. Sahari, Shiloh praises the show and wonders, what if one of your students mentioned that they saw you on TV? How would you feel?
Wavu, Ruskan Lumpima, Muchi Pichi, Wabarani Zimze, Fayumi, Just Vaccine, Clevite Boris, Swarspa, Githara, and Fabi Narble.
Oh my god, I don't think they could ever! You played both seasons with no scandal and everything. Well, to close us out, a little cheese asked both of us name one player eliminated early in their season who has only played once, that we think should play again. Honestly, there's so many, this may take a while. I think a lot of Survivor Season 1 pre-merge boots definitely deserve a second shot in my opinion. Feels a little bit unfair that they got no confessionals or additional traits and personalities that I implemented in later seasons. Most notable in my opinion is Giselle Bergman from Season 1. I had no clue people liked her until recently when I saw a few comments asking about her like return or like a cameo at least. Now I may just have her as like a WTF pick returnee. Also, another pre-merge boot that I really want back is Darnell. Yep, the guy we saw earlier. He wasn't in a terrible position on his tribe, but things would have changed a lot if Darling went home that tribal. He is fit and he is fun and definitely deserving of a second shot as well.
Renea, Subao Gaunim, Yadumak, Sivara, Dubna Timothy, Watanini Chan, Tribal Dorm, Alvine, Babane, Vobi Ibsa Bibdo, Quest, Sensibi Kiniku, Swarspa, Githara.
Oh my gosh, I agree! They both deserve a second chance where they can stand out in the season without like fan favorites. Also, honorable mention is Bloodworth from my Murder Mystery series. Gone too soon, he was such a character. Well, I guess that wraps up our show for tonight. Thank you for all your questions and for joining us. We will see you next with all of the Sims Amazing Race 2 cast, for we'll be hosting the reunion after the finale. We are excited and we can't wait to see you there. Good night. If you enjoyed that video, don't forget to leave a like. I appreciate you all so much for your support and for watching my videos. I hope you have a great day and week ahead. Take care and I will see you in the next one. Bye!